But, well,
I
okay,
feel
well, too
wait.
late.
Oh,
Yeah, and we're live. But go
I was
ahead,
gonna say, I
Kamui,
feel
please. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, never mind.
Never.
No,
Okay.
okay, I must have tell it anyway. So I feel kind of stupid now. So I was afraid to try it. I tried it before this stream, but there's a button on my wireless mic that I can just press to mute myself from like a distance, but outside of Discord, I can just mute without like touching Discord. Oh my god, dude, that I wish I had known this sooner, because every time I went to mute, I have to walk back to the freaking laptop, which is a pain in the ass, mind you, when I go upstairs and I'm like away from it. So like imagine I go upstairs, someone starts talking to me. I can't mute myself because I without the Discord with me. And I was like, bro, I wish I knew this sooner. This would have
Bruh.
saved lives. But
Oh,
anyway,
gosh.
Walky Talky podcast.
And we're live. With special guest, Meek. Introduce yourself or something.
Hey guys, my name is Meek. I'm a Naruto / Boruto content creator. I've been making videos for about 4 years or so, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
All right. W, yeah. Definitely go check out his channel. I'll have it linked in the description below. And there you go.
Now, despite his intro, we're talking Attack on Titan today. So, with that in mind, Meek, tell us about your Attack on Titan experience. How long? So, I'm assuming. Actually, I have no idea. Did you start with the manga? Did you start with the anime? Are you a new viewer, old viewer?
Yeah, so I'm kind of I'm a mixed bag. I kind of picked up the anime around like end of season 3. And once season 3 ended in the anime, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for season 4. Let me pick up the manga. So I kind of followed the manga once the time skip happened, where like Eren was in paradise. Not in paradise. When Eren was in Marley, by being an undercover spy. That's when I started reading the manga month to month. So I've been following the series for a long time, for like a couple years. As the series was, as the manga chapters were dropping every month. So that's kind of how I kept up with AOT, and eventually with the anime as well. But one thing for sure I gotta say is I'm glad that I read the manga first, because the wait for the anime for season 4, or the final season, was terrible. Right? There was like part 5 of the final season, part 3, part 2. You know what I'm saying? So like that was a very big problem for me. That kind of turned me off. That turned me away from the series. I'm not gonna lie, but reading the manga version of it was it honestly, to this day, it's still one of my favorite mangas I've ever read. Boruto's my number one, because I cover the series and I have a lot of bias. So, but in terms of story and just like reading it month to month, the anticipation, the plot twist, reading it for the first time in the manga specifically, seeing like Eren attacking during the declaration of war, seeing that for the first time was nuts, right? And I wasn't someone who I saw some spoilers, but people were making like fake spoilers, so I didn't know what to expect. So reading each chapter was like, it was like watching a new movie every time, and like the movie would have the craziest plot twist ever. So that's kind of my experience with AOT. I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, we're gonna talk about it in this podcast episode, but um, the ending for the manga, at least when I first read it, I had a very sour feeling. I did reread it a couple of times, and I kind of got a better understanding of it. But once the anime got around to it, they cut a lot of fat, and it made me enjoy the series a whole lot more. The dialogue between Eren and Armin was like, in the manga at least, like Armin thanks Eren for becoming a mass murderer. Like that's not in the anime. They just cut that shit out because that is horrible dialogue, and that is like that is the most important conversation throughout the entire series, because it set up everything leading up to that point. So the anime for me was like my saving grace, because reading the manga month to month, it was so peak up until that last chapter, because it did feel very rushed. However, AOT is still one of my favorite series of all time. It's in my top 3. Naruto / Boruto, Dragon Ball, and AOT. So that's my experience, I would say.
Yeah, your experience is a lot like my JJK one, where I started with the anime and then I didn't want to wait for more anime, so I just kept reading the manga. For Attack on Titan, though, I was lucky that I didn't start it until it was probably like March, April. It was early in our podcast history anyway. And it was already up until season 4 in the special episode 1. All I had to wait for was the final episode by the time I caught up. And I was like, okay, I'll wait on the anime for that because it wasn't that long.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for sure.
I love Attack on Titan. Oodie is different. I like Attack on Titan a lot too. I've only seen 6 anime, so to say it's in my top 5 isn't really that crazy, but still it's in my top 5. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so Meek, I feel like this is something that we have to ask. We ask everyone this, but so why do you personally feel Attack on Titan was bad?
What do you mean bad?
Like
Don't-
what ways
god
was it bad?
awful trap, like the worst series of all time. I'm curious why you personally think it is that.
Why do I think
Goes
it's
against
bad? What
everything
the fuck
you
you
just
mean? I just said it was good. Maybe it was like my initial read of like the last chapters. I felt like it was god awful. At least the dialogue between Eren and Armin, because as I mentioned before, it's the most important convo in the series. But I'm not gonna lie, after rereading a couple of times, it made sense. So I can't say it's bad or anything. I
Okay,
thought
so
it was
it's
still pretty
bad
decent
because
in
it
the
took multiple times to read it. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you for your answer.
No, Oodie,
So moving
Oodie's
on.
a big Oodie.
Is he an
No,
AOT hater?
honestly-
Are you an AOT hater?
Oh yeah, Oodie's the AOT hater of this podcast.
No. I'm in
um,
AOT treating it as it deserves to be treated. AOT is a series that just so happens to deserve hate. That don't put that on me. Put that on the series.
No.
Okay, so you're a contrarian. Got it.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I'm a
So, The ending
contrarian.
is, we're going to talk about it. The ending's obviously
Okay.
easily the most controversial part of Attack on Titan. Personally, even in the manga, I read the manga version, I still enjoy it.
That's fair.
I
Yeah,
think
I
as
feel
long
you.
as you understand it, you're probably not going to hate it.
Mhm.
Most people that hate it, I think, didn't fully understand it, whether it took them 3 tries or not. I think if you understand it, you at least, unless you're Oodie, you probably at least somewhat enjoy it. You might not love it, but I think you at least somewhat enjoy
That's
it.
not
It's
true.
tolerable.
I
personally
at
liked it.
least somewhat enjoyed it.
Okay, perfect.
That's the best you get out of me.
Yeah.
You're not a complete hater.
I thought the anime did a way better job though. Like they cut, like I mentioned before this, they cut out a lot of the bullshit in the manga. The dialogue was just so heavy to me. Not like I couldn't understand it. I clearly could comprehend it. It was very easy to understand, but some of the stuff that was said, it was just like, oh, that's kind of what turned me off in the ending, because like right after that, like Eren dies, and then they have that little time skip that eventually ends everything, right? The anime does a little bit better of that. I still feel like overall they should have expanded the ending a little bit more, because they just hopped into a time skip. They showed a little bit of stuff, and then they ended it right there. I would have loved to see how the countries would have reacted to like the destruction of the world, like post rumbling years later. That would have been cool to see. Maybe like an extra episode or so to like really hit home like how much damage there is. Even if you watch like the post credit scene, you saw like eventually Paradise is gonna get destroyed again. Even after like ruling over the world, there's a city. The rest of the world got their get back. They spawned back, so it was gonna happen regardless. But at the end of the day, it was like I still felt like and for me, I still give it a 10 out of 10. Like the manga for me was a little bit like went down to a 9, but I just got a little bit better understanding of the series after a little while. Then the anime kind of just confirmed that feeling for me. So I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I call it a masterpiece, but that's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, I I think most people prefer the anime version. And honestly speaking, the anime did make a lot of changes, even some subtle stuff. Like, for example, in the manga, you know the scene when Ymir smiles behind Mikasa?
Yeah, yeah.
So in the manga, Ymir smiles in Japanese, whereas in the anime, she smiles in English. Oodie, can you pull up that panel?
Yeah, I got it. If you look at the Attack on Titan chat, because I know we wanted to go over some of the differences between the anime and the manga. For example, the Armin scene, as you were mentioning earlier, they made that change from the anime to the manga. I always thought this was a very interesting change they could have made to have Ymir change her smile from Japanese to English.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, just pulling it up on the screen here. But yeah, so Meek, why do you
Do you
think
guys
they
think there'll
made
be
this
like an
change?
AOT sequel? Oh,
And
sorry. Wait, what's up?
why do you
Before
think they made this change in particular? Out of curiosity.
what, the Ymir stuff?
Yeah, to have her smile change from Japanese to English in from the manga to the anime.
I honestly have no idea. Like, I mean, Ymir was the one that was like manipulating everything in the end. So, I mean, yeah, I honestly no clue. It's just the anime decided not to do it. I just feel like it can
I
be
mean,
simple as that in terms of changes, but maybe there's something deeper than that.
I mean, to be fair, it's not the first time they've done this sort of thing. Like, as another
Hmm.
example, like Aaron's laugh cry in season 2 when Hannes dies.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. In the manga, he he cries in Japanese, but in the anime version, it's in English instead.
Yeah.
It's something that the anime's done pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's weird that
True,
the
true.
anime would change the manga from Japanese to English with the smile for me.
It's weird. Like some animes do that a lot. They always change like the minor details for some reason, even though it's not really necessary to do so. I personally think where they do that is just like an animation thing. Like, oh, I don't feel like adding this in, even if it may be significant. Like you see it with like Naruto and Boruto, you see them change like minor things that ultimately doesn't really affect the overall product. So that's like how I view it. Like sometimes like you saw with the Ymir panel, what Kamui you mentioned before. Um, it may hold some more significance, but I just think studios like I don't want to like sound disrespectful when I say this, but I just think the anime is a little bit lazy. They don't want to add that in because I mean it's not that much of an effort, but it's not really something that's too necessary,
That's
right? Even
interesting.
though it
I
should be
mean,
one to one.
So I agree.
it
So I
is a
Yeah,
more detailed versus less detailed difference. So I mean, I don't want to say lazy, but like,
it's not
manga
lazy,
tends to
but
be
they
more
don't need to.
detailed.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
mean,
yeah, so
Hmm.
but Meek, you said something really interesting. You said that it actually holds more impact. So I'm curious, why do you think Ymir's English smile holds more impact than her Japanese smile?
Her English smile?
Yeah.
I didn't say it was. Wait, did I say that?
No, we said
Her
because
smile. I mean,
this is what we're saying is that in the anime that she smiles in English, but in the manga she smiles in Japanese.
like, can you
to be
elaborate? Like,
honest,
what does that mean? Like,
Wait,
I
smiles in a
mean, to
different
wait, you
be
don't
language?
fair,
know?
you probably haven't really studied Japanese much, so I can see why you would miss it. But so, like, to the untrained eye, but once you see it, honestly, it's pretty hard to not notice it.
Yeah, because this is
How do you
something
smile in English and
that
smile in
well, there's
Japanese?
a lot of
How's that
online
possible?
discourse about this scene. Um,
Yeah, like Oodie,
well,
can you pull up some of
here,
those
yeah,
images?
I'll share my
Yeah, you guys got to run me up to
screen.
speed.
Yeah, here, I'll share my screen.
Yeah,
So for
I got
example,
you.
so I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see it.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah. So this is like the difference is you have like this American smile here, right? I
Oh,
think
you
that
show
the
your
English,
teeth.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the English smile, it's very distinct, the American smile. But if you change it to the Japanese smile, you can tell the difference, right? Like it's a localization thing. It's something that they translate the difference here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like Oodie has a good side by side. It's not the image isn't comparing Japanese to English, but it's the Czech Republic versus English, just as a good example. Um, I sent
Oh
you
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. I
Yeah,
know
can
what
you
you're
pull that one
talking
up?
about.
Yeah, it gives you a good like contrast, just so you can get the idea.
Can you put that in the Attack on Titan chat so I can pull it up on stream?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in our DMs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Oh my god. All right, change the name. Smile PNG. Okay, where did it just put it? I have too many images on my stupid laptop.
While you guys are finding
Okay.
that, I have a question for you guys. Do you think there'll be like a sequel to AOT or like
I
a
would
follow-up
like it,
series?
but I don't know how.
I don't see how
It'd
they
have to.
couldn't.
It's not like it's not like Boruto and Naruto where like, geez, where did it save this?
I
It's not like
definitely think
Boruto,
they
like
can.
Naruto, where there's a son to follow or something. It's kind of just like
Well, there is.
the
There's that kid at the
parody
end
got
of the
blown up.
manga.
They would have to use that kid with the dog. Okay, I
Yeah,
put in
which is
chat.
fine. Yeah, so
And it's the
here,
funniest part because it like restarts the cycle. Oh shit. Okay, I see it.
yeah, exactly. So why do you think the American smile was more impactful in the anime than the Japanese smile was in the manga?
Why more impactful?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I mean, they just decided to add that in there. I mean,
that's
I see what you
interesting.
guys are
Okay.
saying, but like,
Well, yeah, it's
they just threw it in there.
I'm because
Yeah,
it's one of the more interesting changes in the finale because of how they translated it.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously.
I
Yeah,
mean, it gives you like a different emotion, I would say. Like the vibe from Ymir, it's not like, night and day, but maybe like afternoon versus night. It's like there's a difference. You can feel it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So for me though, I mean, you can definitely tell the difference with the Japanese units. So following the metric system, the JU in this one is 12, whereas in the
Yeah,
English
on the
one it's
JU
10.
scale, the manga one for Ymir, we had the measurements up the other day, but I think we said it was about was it a 9? I think it was a
No, no,
9
yeah, it was a
on the JU
9.5
scale.
is what we
But
measured it at. A 9.5,
okay.
yeah.
And then so by comparison, on the same JU scale for the anime version, it's literally 1.5. But if you use the AU scale for American units, it's a 9. It's about average, the same. That's like how the conversion essentially works. Like the JU scale is just basically scaled up.
Yeah, because of the metric system, you have to do that conversion, but it's not that difficult. You can just like do it online with Google. So you don't really have to do the math yourself. You just got to convert the Japanese units of the smile to the American units.
I honestly kind of prefer the JU scale. I feel like it's more reasonable just because of I mean, that's a good smile.
Yeah. In fact, Kamui, can you find a picture depicting the AU units?
Yeah, hold on. We talked so much in DMs, but I'm just gonna scroll up till I find it.
Yeah, well, just for reference, for those that don't know Japanese, for those that haven't studied it or whatever, so the average units for the English smile is 12 American units, whereas for Japanese, it's 12 Japanese units is the average for the Japanese smile. But again, the distinction there is the different unit conversions. So if you wanted to compare the conversion, that's how you do it. It's to help you convert the units from the JU scale to the AU scale of the smile because of the metric system again.
Okay, 1 second. I found it. Okay, so this is just a kind of a diagram. He's smiling a bit more aggressively than the other photo, but it just to
Yeah.
help you get the picture.
Meek, are you following along to the smile?
I am, but I'm not gonna lie. You guys are looking way too deep into it. I'm not gonna hold you.
I mean, that is kind of like what we do. Like,
It is. It is. I feel you.
Through anime balls deep, like this is podcast balls deep. Like we will analyze every detail. Like we pay
I
close
got you.
attention.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I got you.
again,
Makes sense.
I mean, I guess that makes sense that you would say that because you haven't studied Japanese, but like it's extremely obvious to me
No.
because I got my degree in Japanese from college. So it's a very clear intentional
Wait,
change.
for real?
Yeah, I had to.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I took the FLATS test. That's the foreign language aptitude test. I
Oh
had to
wow.
get that
So
for
you're pretty
college.
Yeah, he's
fluent in it, right?
certified. Like he's certified.
Yeah, I can't work every
Oh,
job, but
nice.
I can work like some jobs in Japanese, like legally or whatever. Yeah, with the degree.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I haven't actually studied Japanese, but since this is a visual thing, once Oodie kind of like showed me it, I just can't unsee it now.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
really
makes
easy
sense.
once you see it because like again, it's just something that you're taught. It's the difference between the localization of the English smile versus the translation of the Japanese smile through the AU conversion to JU. Hey, Meek.
What's up?
I mean, if that doesn't make sense, the best way to do it is just look at the diagram. So, like, basically each, they're called dimples. I don't know, the little lines on his face, as they stretch out, you can see there's a different number assigned to it. So a 28, it goes, that's the one that's on the outer line there in the bottom left. It goes all the way out there. Whereas a 12, the average smile, that's that big indentation. Most smiles just go that far. He's, very happy, evidently. And that's why he's got all the way to a 28 here. Which, for reference, looking at the other image, the Japanese versus American one, that guy, that's a Japanese smile right there. He's smiling like a Japanese smile in this one. It's just, they tend to smile harder.
Exactly, yeah. Through the conversion of the metric units, you can tell the difference through the JU scale.
Another interesting detail is actually, if you look at this, like the saying, like smiling with your eyes. So you can visibly see it with the Japanese one, like versus the American. It's night and day. He's smiling with his eyes.
Right,
Now, if
yeah.
you look at the manga versus anime of the Ymir image, you'll notice something. Ymir's eyes are shown in the manga, the Japanese one. In the anime, they don't even show her eyes. Like that's how little she's smiling with her eyes. They don't even show them.
That's also further
night and day in
indication
that respect.
that it's the American smile in the anime versus the Japanese smile in the manga. And as you know,
Because
it's very difficult to produce.
They would have shown the eyes.
Yeah, it's very difficult to produce an anime, and so like every change they make is very intentional, because like they had this as reference material from the manga already. Like they're adapting this, so the fact that they changed what they're supposed to be adapting tells you that it's a change that they intended and meant to do. So I'm curious why you think they changed her smile to an American smile in the anime. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Ymir is like, she's really like the villain in this story. She's like manipulated Eren to do all this stuff, right? It wasn't really out of Eren's will. He was kind of used as a slave. So that, I mean, do you guys think that it could possibly be because her standing in the series? Maybe like having an American smile could like hint at her being evil or something like that. Because of like her intentions.
The best way to analyze that is to check out King Fritz's various smiles. That's something we didn't think to do, but I mean, to me, King Fritz, like the OG King Fritz, that's like the most evil guy in the series. So 100%. King Fritz attack on Titan.
Yeah, Meek, out of
you might actually have a picture of him from a thumbnail.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was smiling in that one though.
Yeah, I don't think so. Meek, off the top of your head, do you remember what language King Fritz smiles in?
Top of my head, no.
No, okay.
I don't have a degree in languages.
Which was your prediction though? Did you think the English one was the more evil one?
Yeah, the English one for sure.
Well, Meek, which scale do you use? Do you use the metric system or do you use the American units for your smiles?
American
units for your smiles?
Miles
okay.
Inches. Yeah.
This is crazy. The anime versus manga differences of King Fritz. That's wild. Okay, I miss this. That's a funny Photoshop one, but that's not what we want. Thing is, this guy's beard gets in the way of some of these, but all right. I'm gonna post several King Fritz photos, and we'll just kind of analyze them together, I guess.
All right. Determine what language he's smiling in.
I think this is probably plenty. Just for the sake of it, I do want to show this photoshopped one because I think it's pretty funny. That would be fun to guess which smile that one is. Okay. Oh my god, where did all these save?
Oh my gosh, Colin.
Bombard King Fritz photos.
Oh, bro, this is a Scandinavian smile. This first one. That's interesting. Is that the Photoshop?
Yeah, it is. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, not to be like,
Scandinavians or Vikings, but he does kind of look like a Viking.
Well, yeah, but I'm basing that based on the measurements of the metric system. So
I
that'd be
know
on
you're
the
basing off the actual smile, but it kind of just looks like one in general. All right, plus if you want. Look at the bottom manga one though. That's night and day difference. Like you could tell it literally fits the Japanese comparison from earlier too.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at it.
clearly
Now
a
look at the anime one
22.
above it.
That's a 22 on the JU scale.
Now look at the image directly above it. By comparison, that's an anime one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like
Meek, where would
like
you rate
night
this
and day.
on the JU scale?
In terms of what? I don't know how to rate that.
The measurement.
In terms
Okay,
of
Oodie,
You can just measure
higher.
it based on
I
like
think
your
two
eyes.
higher is
Yeah.
Oodie, go
based on
two
eye
higher.
test, I
I
don't
think
know
that
the
one's the
JU
same. Not that one, the one above it. This one I think is the same image, but it's still like
yeah.
look at that difference.
Yeah, this one checks out for the measurements of the Scandinavian smile. But the other one is very clearly the Japanese smile.
Yeah, there's no contest. Like it has to be.
Yeah. Meek, where would you rate this though on the scale? Like what number?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to scale it. Like, what's an appropriate scale? I don't know the JU scale.
It's fine. You can just like
Like
eyeball
10?
it.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
not
what's your
pretend. Just like
guess?
eyeball
50.
it. Yeah.
Like 15? I don't know. I don't know I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I'd say it's around a 14.5 personally, but yeah, it's around there.
Okay.
Yeah, Kamui, where would you
Let's
rate
look at
it?
the top two now. There's some more anime
Okay.
photos. One of them's like a thumbnail taken from a different scene. But
Yeah, this is a pretty good.
this one you might
thumbnail
have to zoom in on. No, the one above it is a thumbnail. This is an actual anime image.
too. Yeah, I know, but it would work as a thumbnail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw this one first.
That one is still, I would still call it a Scandinavian smile, but there's a little bit of English tones to it.
Yeah, it's compared to the smiling Titan to the right of it, which is about a 32 on the JU scale.
Oh my god, yeah, the smiling Titan dude, that's literally, it has to be the biggest smile of the series. Like,
Yeah. If we're ranking Attack on Titan smiles, it's probably going at the top.
yo, that's a tier list. And we'll
Write
use
that
the
down,
JU
yeah.
scale measurements. We'll actually like assign them ranks.
Yeah. Meek, what would you say is the greatest smile in Attack on Titan?
The greatest smile? Oh, you know that smile that Armin does?
Oh,
That,
that's a good one.
You know what I'm talking about? I don't know the exact scene. It's in season 4.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
yeah. I don't know which scene it is, but it's like toward the end of AOT though.
Yeah, it might
Armin
be when
does some like
he's
crazy smile.
when he's faking to get on the
Wait.
boat, or it might. I don't remember exactly where it
It
is.
depends on what scene you're referring to.
It's his weird,
I don't know what
obvious
scene.
face.
Armin smile.
Trust me,
looking it
you
up.
know the scene.
Yeah, I'll throw it in chat. I just googled it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the boat. Here, let me throw in the AOT chat.
Alright.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that scene. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, this one.
That's
I
he's
found a
talking to
better one.
Aaron. That
Weird.
jokes like, oh, maybe
He's-
Mika's gonna
Yeah, this is
Well,
very
this one.
high on the
Find a new man.
American unit scale. So he's
Go to the next
smiling
one.
in
Wait, go
American
to-
here.
Yeah.
Go to the next one. I posted the one.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, this is an American smile. That's really interesting that they
it's
did that.
very high up. Like if you look at the
Yeah,
the
very high up.
diagram, it's kind of like that guy. In fact,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
about the
it's
max for the
anime
American
drawing,
smile.
but his big indentation is like 3 times the size of that. So if you multiply 12 by 3, that'd be 36, which
Yeah, exactly.
seems pretty reasonable.
You're just eyeballing it. Like, obviously, we can't do the exact unit scaling right now because it would take a little bit longer than what we have time for. But again, just eyeballing it, it's about there. If not, it's somewhere between a 34 to a 37 for sure.
Yeah, I mean 40 high end, but I think 36 is probably a pretty good number.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that to our attention, though. That's very, very interesting that they did that.
Yeah, because that wasn't even his smile wasn't even that big in the manga. That was added in the
Let's
anime.
look at that actually. Let's check out the manga one
exactly.
real
So
quick.
he probably did smile in Japanese in the manga. That would make sense to me.
I thought I had this bookmarked. Let me do it on my phone. I don't want to mess up Alan.
Attack on Titan manga 3. It's like chapter. This is probably the second to last chapter or the last chapter.
Okay.
Bro, I'm not a robot. Oh my god. Yes, I'm not a robot. Jesus. Dude,
Are
what
you
is it doing?
sure
No,
about
I don't.
that?
Oh my god. This stupid website, bro. I picked the wrong website. Okay, let's try to download something. I canceled it, but anyway. I don't know what website the one I usually use is. Alright, chapter 130. Oh my god. Alright, screw this website.
You got it, Kamui? Should we move on to the next topic?
Hold on, no, let me just I wish they just had this on Viz. Wait.
Oh my god.
Maybe this is the one I use.
Meek, what would you rate the Attack on Titan finale?
The finale? Well, I have 2 different ratings for the anime and manga.
Yeah, do like the manga one and the anime one separately.
Yeah, the manga for me is a 7 out of 10. Or 6.5. I still feel about it, but I kind of got a better understanding, especially once they added the additional pages, because the initial ending, it wasn't they didn't show the like the pages after, or like you see the kid like see the tree again. They don't show that shit. So like you have to wait like a couple of extra months for for like that additional pages to come out. Like Isayama dropped like 10 extra pages, so it felt kind of like rushed, because before those pages came out, it was like, okay, what happens after, right? It just felt like a huge, like, it's a big question, right? And he answered that question, but he had to wait a couple months for those pages, so it just felt a little bit, it felt a little bit rushed in the manga. The anime was much more cleaned up. I thought it was a lot better. They cut out a lot of the fat in the dialogue. They cut out a lot of the scenes that honestly just weren't necessary, and it just got straight to the point. And that's why I think the reception for the anime ending was a lot better than the manga, because the manga was just like, if you're reading it month to month, it was a clusterfuck. So many people were making fake spoilers as well, fake panels. So it was kind of hard to like get your hands on the full chapter. And I was somebody who, like, I didn't care how I was gonna read it. I didn't care about spoilers at the time, so like when I read manga, I kind of just read it official only. I don't look at spoilers. But for AOT during that time, I was like reading it with spoilers, so it was kind of it was like everywhere, right? Like people were making fake spoilers, and you didn't know what was going on, so it was a clusterfuck in the end. The anime, on the other hand, like I said, cut out the fat. It got to the point easier. I think just the final battle and just the conversation was a whole lot better. It's a lot more enjoyable. I'd give that like a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it way more. Not to mention, I like the animation as well. I thought Mappa did a really good job just finishing it off finally too, because they took, I don't know, 2 years to adapt like 10 chapters worth of material. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Out of
I put that
curiosity,
in chat, by the way, Oodie.
as an epilogue, how would you solely rate just the epilogue? for being an epilogue.
What's the epilogue again?
It's basically just those bonus 10 pages or whatever.
Oh, those, okay.
Yeah, so assuming that's just
what would I
chapter
rate
140.
that?
Yeah, how would you rate chapter 140, quote unquote, assuming that was?
Like a 8 out of 10. It cleared up a lot of things.
Interesting.
It just showed, yeah, because it was like the way the series ended was, it was like when it ended the same way the anime did, but those pages just cleared up a lot of things what happened in the future. Like people were asking like, what happens next? Like, what is the world gonna do? Is everybody dead? Even though like 90% of the world was killed off, what is the other 10% going to do? Right? So like you saw in the after credits, in the anime, where like you see like the city of paradise, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
They industrialize, but eventually it gets bombed. You see that in the manga. You get those pages. I think the anime showed it a little bit in like a smaller section when the end credits were rolling. So it cleared things up post rumbling.
To be fair, we don't know when all that happens or how long it's been or the world outside of what we see in parody.
I'd imagine it's at least a couple hundred years, possibly even 1,000.
Yeah, I like
because
to
you
think
gotta
of it
remember,
as
it's like
2000.
90% of the world was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
Oh,
likely 2,000
yeah.
years later.
That works well. If it's at
Ironically,
least
unironically
Mikasa's
enough.
death age, but
I would give it at most a 3 out of 10, but that's being generous. Probably like a 2 out of 10 because I feel like it goes against what the series had been setting up. But maybe that's just me. I feel like it could have done way better, way
That's
more
just
as
you.
an epilogue.
That's
That's just me. Okay.
I think that's
Um,
just you.
I don't think it goes against what the series is setting up at all.
Nah,
But
yeah,
I can see
Sam.
how it leaves a somber, sour taste in your mouth, maybe for some people, because it's kind
Yeah.
of a bittersweet ending.
It
And I
is
can get that
very
aspect, but I don't
bittersweet.
think it goes against anything.
Okay.
Nah, it isn't. Like, I think a lot of people didn't expect the cycle to start over. Because if you saw at the end, there was a boy that was walking toward the tree. Most likely, he would have fell into like the water and gotten the Titan powers again. Because after the rumbling, no one had Titan powers. Titans were dead.
Why would
But
there even
eventually,
be
like you
water
saw,
underneath there? Because it's just a tree. Like in the original, the tree was on top of
like
a
this-
lake of water. In this case, it wasn't on top of a lake
yeah,
of
like
water. It was just
there's like
ground.
it's ground, but there's probably like spinal fluid at the bottom. So like if the
Yeah.
kid goes in, most likely he did, and he falls in, becomes the founding Titan again.
I
That's
agree.
what probably happens. Like
The question
there's a
though
cycle
is,
that will always
what would
happen.
happen to
Yeah.
him? Because unlike Ymir, he's not running away fearing death. He's just exploring with his dog.
Well, we
So
don't
what
know.
happens to him could be completely different. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, what
Mhm.
was interesting? Wasn't he
Like I wouldn't say he's running for his life right now. This is not the
Yeah,
implication.
wasn't
there.
he like disabled or
Nah,
something?
he's literally exploring.
He had like a bad leg or something.
Disabled.
I forget. He had like a bad
mean, he had, like,
something.
Oh,
robot
well,
part.
He was
limb?
holding something to help him walk.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
that
his
doesn't
dog
necessarily
was
mean
like
he's
a guide
disabled. He
dog.
could just be using it to help him hike.
Yeah, he was hiking.
We don't know.
Yes.
I wouldn't say he's disabled.
Okay. I thought like
It's
the
kinda
dog was like a
confusing.
guide
We don't know.
dog. I just felt like that. Oh.
A guide
I thought it
dog.
was
They're in
just
the
his
middle of
pet.
the.
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, Meek.
Just
What
found
about
a random
this? What
dog.
about
I can
this?
get the interpretation.
Subversion
but
of
Yeah.
expectations. Plot twist. The boy never fell in. The dog did.
yeah,
The
dude.
That'd be
dog
fucking wild.
becomes
gets
What,
pain
dog
powers.
titans?
the founding
Dog
Titan.
titans?
Yo,
The
that's
founding dog?
that would go hard. That's like
Yeah.
it's like a mix
The
between
founding
Attack on
zombie
Dog?
story.
Attack on dog.
That's how you make
Yeah.
Titans scary right there.
The founding
No,
dog.
that's sequel.
The
The
attack dog.
colossal
That
dog.
would be honestly scarier in
beast
a way.
dog.
Because, dogs like to eat, right?
Wait, would
The
the beast
Warhammer
dog be
dog.
extra dog, or would it be the opposite to where it's a human again? It's the only human Titan.
The beast dog.
The Warhammer dog.
Oh god.
The jaw dog. That's already what they are.
That's so stupid.
The colossal dog, the armored dog, those make sense. The cart dog.
Oh my god. Card Titan doesn't make sense.
So
in the first
goofy.
place.
The female dog.
Stupid.
How would that work?
They would just call it a mutt. Or what do you call female dogs already? I don't know. Bitch.
The B word that you
Yeah.
won't say on the podcast.
Okay. There you go. I love how you said it right after us. Anyways.
Anyway.
Okay, so with this, Kamui, did we want to move to this or?
Yeah, we can move to your 5 billion point essay thing.
Okay. Well, no, this isn't the 200-point essay. This is Cam's messages from her other server. The question and answer.
Oh, the Cam messages. Okay,
Yeah. So Meek, out of curiosity, what did you think of genocide in Attack on Titan?
Well, I don't think it's justified. It wasn't. I seen people try to say it's Aaron's in the right and whatnot, but obviously innocent people died in the end. I understand why he had to do what he had to do, but it's still bad. You're killing a bunch of innocent people, and while yes, you were targeted and whatnot, it just made him look like a fucking dickhead. Not to mention he pushed away a lot of people, like his own friends, So that's kind of what.
Yeah,
that's what kind of made it really bad.
I would definitely say it's more than
What's
a few people
interesting-
because I'm showing on screen just a fraction of the people that say it, and it's a lot of people, and this is just a fraction of them. So it's definitely more than a few, but I get what you're saying.
Oh
I mean,
shit! You have a
something
bunch of
to note,
comments.
though-
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's compiled a bunch of his. But
Wow.
it is important to note though that especially when you read the last chapter, Aaron isn't doing this because he necessarily thinks it's morally right. He's doing it because he wants to, because
Yeah.
he can't accept the ending of them just getting pummeled into the ground. He literally in I forgot which chapter specifically, but it's in the second to last episode with the flashback. Like he contemplates, just like, what would my mom think? Like, is it morally more right if we just let ourselves be destroyed? Maybe it is, but he can't accept that. He feels some type of way about the outside world, and he wants to stamp it flat. And of course, obviously, he wants his friends to live long lives, and he's killing two birds with one stone, essentially. He doesn't think it's morally right. It's just what he wants to do.
Yeah, so the way I see it, everyone in the world outside of parody is evil. So, like, here's the question. Is genocide inherently
great,
bad?
Meek. Don't listen to Oodie on
so,
this.
Okay, so Meek, if the world was filled with 8 billion Hitlers, and there's nobody else on Earth, it's just Hitler clones, would genocide
Why would I
be
think
justified?
that way?
Yeah, just hypothetical.
Because Oodie thinks that's how it is in Attack on Titan.
Or
He thinks
even
that
That's so stupid.
well, let me throw a bone to you. Okay, let me throw a bone to you. In
8 billion
Boruto,
That's
is
fucking wild,
Kawaki's
bro.
plan justified?
If Kawaki did something like this,
Well, no, Kawaki
his
is
current
doing
plan
something
to
like this
wipe
with
out
the
all
Otsutsuki.
Otsutsuki,
Yeah, all Otsutsuki.
including
I think
Boruto.
his plan is justified because Otsutsukis have shown that they're just a threat to the Earth. Like they all
Okay.
have the same goal.
Yeah,
They do.
okay, so Attack on Titan
So,
genocide is
Wait,
justified.
It's not
I'm
the
glad we
same
I'm
though.
gonna
agree.
It's
expand
not
it.
the same.
Wait,
Why?
hold on. No, but Meek, I'm gonna make it the same. So parody is one continent of the Attack on Titan Earth. So hypothetically speaking, we don't know this is true, but hypothetically, if the Otsutsuki is way larger in proportion to the solar system, like for every one Earth planet, there's 10 Otsutsuki planets. So like they're the majority, and Kawaki wants to wipe out all of them. Would that still be justified?
Yeah, because they're still a threat
So
to
how is
Earth
that
at the end of the day.
Exactly. So here's the difference, Kamui. The answer to the question that I asked is no. Genocide is not inherently evil or negative. So in Attack on Titan's case, it's not a negative genocide. This is a positive genocide. Okay, we're all following? Got it? Good? Great. All right.
Well, based off Meek's answer, but he doesn't agree with that. So this is my thing is, what's the difference in that case though, Meek? If one Earth is within the solar system, 1/10 of that solar system, where the other 90% is the Otsutsuki, why is it justified for Kawaki to kill the other 90%, but not for Eren to do the same? But only on his planet. It's just scaled down. Isn't it the same concept?
No, they're different people because you can see that at the end of the series they all they come to a better understanding, right? Like after they stopped the rumbling, you see Armin and whatnot. They literally stopped the people of, was it Marley, right?
Yeah,
The skinny
Marley,
tech?
yeah.
The Marleyans, right? Like they come to a better understanding. Like, oh shit, like these are the people that want to come stop it.
They definitely
Not
did
only
not.
that, like
Look at the
Well,
epilogue.
what if
They
the
did it.
Otsutsuki does the same?
Yeah,
What if
I would
Momoshiki befriends
I would
Boruto?
argue that it's more
That's not gonna
ethical in
fucking
Attack on
happen, 'cause if
Titan's
that happens,
case
I'm
than
dropping
it
the
is in
series.
Boruto's case.
Okay,
Because
but like
with the
hypothetically
Otsutsuki,
though, what if the Otsutsuki
think about
do
argument.
have the ability to come to an understanding with humans? Like it is
no,
possible.
here's the difference,
Even
is
if it's
that we
difficult.
know
I don't think it is though. I don't
because
think it is because
Kaguya
Otsutsuki
showed the
look at humans
potential.
as inferior beings.
No, because
That's not
Kaguya
gonna
showed
happen.
potential
Okay,
that the
but
Marleyans or the
viewed
worlds never
Eldians
did.
as devils.
No, here's the difference, is that Kaguya was capable of love. She loved her
Kaguya had
children.
sex with a
The
human,
Marleyans and the
bro.
rest of the world
Like,
isn't. They are incapable.
Kaguya had a child
physically.
with humans.
Exactly.
I mean, in the anime specifically, she was in love with that guy. So
Yeah.
she's capable of
So
doing
it's
it.
more
She
ethical,
was capable
and
of loving her
it's less
children, too.
ethical to kill the Otsutskis than it would be to kill the world of Attack on Titan.
I don't think that's the case. I disagree with you there, Oodie, but I do think that there technically is a similarity here in that it boils
There
down
is
to,
a similarity.
is it
100%.
possible to reach that understanding? In the Attack on Titan, it clearly is because they literally do it.
No, they don't.
When push
Look at
comes
the
to shove. The same
epilogue.
way in Naruto, the 5 great nations reached an understanding when they had a common enemy. The same thing happened with Marley and Parody and Attack on Titan. It was the same thing.
No, it
With
didn't.
the Otsutsuki, we haven't really seen them come to an understanding with humans for the most part. But so I can understand why you would initially say, yeah, it is justified. But technically, if it is possible, like Meek, even if you don't think it is, assuming it was possible for Otsutskis and humans to come to an understanding, then would you say it's not justified? If it's possible.
I mean, not all Otsutskis think the same way, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
But the world of
I
Attack on
mean,
Titan all feels the same way. We see
But also,
this.
also you have to understand that Otsutskis, they invade planets to kill. Like,
Yeah,
they
just
don't
like
give a fuck
Marley
about
was
that
doing to
shit. Like,
Parody.
you know what I'm saying?
Just like the world was doing
Yeah,
to
I
Parody.
guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we look at the capability of the individuals. The Otsutskis have far more capabilities that have been portrayed and shown to us than what has been displayed with the world of Attack on Titan outside of Parody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, it's
Fair,
far
fair,
more
fair.
ethical.
You guys do make a point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm glad that. All right. Glad I convinced you on that.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's far more. No, here's the distinction though. Like where I'm gonna differ from Oodie here is that I'm saying if Otsutsuki can come to an understanding with humans, which it's reasonable that they theoretically could, you might not say it's justified anymore. But in Attack on Titan, we know it's possible because we see it. Oodie still hangs on his hat, the clinging to dear life, thinks that it's physically impossible. Their brains prevent them from liking people of Parody when we literally see them come to an understanding.
That's not
where I
true.
disagree
We
with you,
literally
Oodie.
don't.
Oh my god, bro, you're literally gonna I bet you that's what that rewrite you're doing is. You're gonna make freaking Commander McGath not come to an understanding with the freaking Eldians. It's probably what you're gonna do.
You'll see. You'll see. I'm not even going to say anything
Oh,
about
yeah,
I would have a
I
witty
knew
quirk
it.
to come back with, but I don't want to even give you any ammo there. Not going to
Yeah,
get
I
anything
know it,
from
dude.
you.
You're gonna freaking change that shit.
You're going to have to wait and see. I'll surprise you.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll
Either
find
way,
out.
I'm interested to see how it plays out in your actual story.
There we
But
go.
ignoring that, I mean, Meek. Okay, I think that you remember that campfire scene? Like you have Commander McGath, Rhina, Annie, and Jean, and all them.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say they got over their. I mean, they had beef at the beginning. They argued, but they put that aside, and by the end of the story, they did come to an understanding. Commander McGath literally
They did
gave
not
his
by
life,
the campfire scene. So let me just put it to you this way.
By the end of the
okay, end of the series. Okay, but then the campfire scene doesn't matter. Because they're throwing it aside for the sake of Eren. If a plane overhead flew by and through the megaphone was like, "We killed Eren, hurrah, it's over," they're going back to war. McGath is shooting John in the head at the campfire scene.
Not by later, like when there's that scene with Commander McGath like apologizing and shit. I think it's like before they invade the airport ship place where Flock is and shit, where you know when Flock ends up in the ocean. Before that scene when Commander McGath dies, like by that point when he apologizes, says he's wrong, blah blah blah. Like he came to an understanding with them. Okay, he wasn't being a dickhead. He didn't think they were devils anymore. He got over it, just like the freaking chef guy who got over it and stopped thinking Eldians were devils. Okay, it's same thing with him. Like they got over it. They can do it. The problem was essentially they were taught to think Eldians were devils, but the same goes for freaking Rhina and them. They thought the Eldians were devils, but after spending time with them, getting to know them, they realized, yeah, all that history lessons they went through were bullshit. They're normal people. That's why they had so much inner conflict about their situation, because they felt like it was wrong to kill them at this point. They didn't want to, but they felt that they had to, even though they didn't want to.
They were taught it by the original people who believed it from their births, just like they do.
They didn't believe it. It wasn't freaking in their genetics to believe it.
Then who taught the people that are teaching? How far back do you want to go? It's the chicken or the egg.
Oodie, it's as simple as this. When King Fritz was going around terrorizing everyone with his Titan army, people thought they were bad for that. They didn't like him for that. And then they, from then on, taught their children, and then they eventually stopped him because the 142nd or whatever, King Fritz just surrendered, went to Paradis. From that point, everyone who was alive was like, yeah, these people suck. They're evil. Hey, kid, you know those Eldians that are living here? They're evil. Don't trust them. And then from then on, they just kept teaching it.
Okay, and why did they originally hate them? Why did they originally think King Fritz was bad? Because that's what he was actually factually doing.
Yeah, he was being bad. That's why.
Okay, there you
King
go.
Fritz was being, but the thing is, King Fritz isn't even a subject of Ymir in the first place. He's an Eldian because he's the king of Eldia, but it has nothing to do with the people who even have Titan powers. It's literally the guy, the father of those people. He didn't have the powers. He was the evil guy.
We also know that instinct is passed down, whether that be memories, fears, etc., etc. So the belief is just being passed down to the children. They don't have to be taught it because they're born with it.
You can't prove that instinct had actually that became an instinct by this point. And if anything, I would argue it hadn't been the case because of how easily people, like, I would say easy, but pretty quickly, many people got over their problems when they spent time with the Eldians on Paradis. It, objectively, it wasn't like it took this. It's not like they're freaking fighting omnipotence. Like their instinct, these people are bad. Like it's, they can't help but hate them. No, they got over it. Okay, it was hard because it was ingrained into their freaking schooling. Imagine somebody tries to tell you 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 now. It's gonna be pretty hard for you to believe it because of how long you've just believed it at this point. Imagine if somebody tried to tell you that freaking World War II happened differently. Hitler didn't exist. It was actually a guy named Bittler. Like, what? No, you've been taught this for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just going against everything you've learned for 12 years straight. You're not gonna immediately just believe them, but if people show you, you can believe it. An instinct is a lot harder to get over.
Okay, Kamui, let's have Meek decide. So Meek, hypothetical scene here. So on the beach where Magath apologizes before they go get the boat to the Eldians. You know that scene?
Yes.
Okay, so hypothetically, a Marleyan boat comes up on port, and through their megaphones, it's like, great news! Eren died of a heart attack! What is Magath's reaction?
This is before the rumbling, right?
This is during the rumbling.
Post or after?
Technically after.
I mean, Oodie, you need to change your question though, because my answer to that would be relief. But then what? So the real question is,
he'd be like,
does he turn on
the initial, because the initial would be shock.
Comrades, or does he?
Yeah.
Be
I don't think he would.
I think he would.
I wouldn't say friends, but he wouldn't just attack them.
I wouldn't say friends either.
Yeah, friends. I don't know about that.
I would say friends, but the point is, he got over his beef. I don't think he'd attack him immediately.
Why would he immediately get over it outside of because of Eren? He was fighting them earlier that same day.
Yeah, he got over it because of Eren and time passing with them. But now that he's gotten over
time
it,
hasn't
I don't
passed
think he's just
for
gonna
them.
get over
it. Been the
it.
short term. There's been a single night.
Okay, but it was the Oodie. If you get over, you have a fight with someone and you're mad at them. Once you get over it and nothing happens to make you mad at them again, are you randomly just gonna turn on them and be mad at them again? No, you got over it.
Okay,
unless they do something to make you get over it, then yeah, you might get mad again. In this case, those Eldians that he just was talking to didn't do anything to make him mad again.
Kamui,
hypothetically, no reason for him to just now be mad at them.
Kamui, hypothetically, if Eren's head just landed 3 feet to the left instead of in Zeke's hands, so the rumbling just never happened, I don't care if you wait a day, a week, a month, or a year, Magath is still shooting Jon in the head.
Magath would have, in that situation, Magath would have shot Jon in the head before he gave it a week or a month. That's the problem there. He wouldn't, in that case, Magath wouldn't have given him a chance. But in this case, he did give him a chance. That's what's important.
Yeah, because their own country was at stake. They don't value
but it doesn't matter. The point, though, Oodie, is that's what it doesn't matter why. The only reason freaking Onoki, the Raikage, and all these villages gave each other a chance in the Fourth Great Ninja War is because they freaking had to. if the fourth Great Ninja War didn't happen, they wouldn't have given each other a chance. They wouldn't have come to an end. They wouldn't have gotten over their problems. They only did because of the circumstances. But once that was over, they didn't just immediately go back to fighting. They kept being cool with each other.
If there is
because at that point, they had already gotten over it.
If I walk into my house and find a hornet nest just randomly in there, but then a bear marches in and then the hornets go attack the bear, I'm letting them do that. And then you know what I'm doing when the bear runs out and the hornets rush after them? I'm locking the door and destroying the nest. I'm not being friends with the hornets after the bear's gone.
That is not at all applicable, Oodie.
Why?
They're not freaking... Because neither of these people are mindless bears that are going to attack you regardless. Okay, you didn't come to an understanding with the hornet or the bear. You literally can, okay?
This is a weird analogy.
Not a weird analogy.
These are humans we're talking about.
Because
like animals that attack you.
Kamui's defense against that, his counter against that, is it's just circular. Oh, well, they did come to an understanding, so therefore it doesn't apply. They didn't come to an understanding is my point. That's the point of the analogy.
No, Oodie, but that's where you're wrong. It's literally the same as the freaking fourth Great Ninja War of Naruto, and I know you understood that.
What would happen? Meek, have you seen Tokyo Ghoul?
Because you have this stupid belief that they're instinctually brain warped and like stupid essentially and can't.
Man, almost like that's literally a major plot point in all of Attack on Titan is the fact that exists.
It's not though. They're literally not. That's oh my god.
It's literally Zeke's plan.
Meek argue against it now.
Okay, Meek, have you seen Tokyo Ghoul?
No, I haven't.
Crap. Okay, well, there's a lot of scenes in Tokyo Ghoul and a lot of other anime to where the bureau or whatever, like the police, essentially the Marlians in this case, quote unquote, are killing the ghouls who they understand and sympathize with because it's their job to do so and because there's a conflict there. It doesn't matter that they understand. They understood them and they did it anyways. They're like, sorry, but I have to kill you now. And then they do.
Okay.
Yeah, that I got you. Yeah, so hypothetically, if the leader, in a situation where, hypothetical here, Magath hates the Eldians still, but his soldiers like the Eldians. Well, depending on how dedicated they are to Marley, they might go through with Magath's orders and kill them anyway because they're doing their duty, or if they feel it's morally wrong, they'll go against it. I mean, that depends on the individual's morality and how much they care about doing justice for their country versus their own morals. But in this case, that would be like the doing the job of the higher up. But in this case, we're talking about the literal general of the army having an understanding, so he's not going to command them in the first place.
Okay, let's also bring Free Game and Immortal Phoenix up before Meek has to go. Kamui, let's
I'm gonna have to bounce though.
Yeah, because I wanted your take on this before you go though, really quick. So me and Kamui and Cam and like a few others have been arguing for the past few months about this genocide topic. I don't want to get to the debate. Like the point is, I think that genocide is lazy writing, not for the reasons that we listed, but because genocide is clearly wrong, but it's not portrayed as wrong in Attack on Titan. The fact that all of these people can make it controversial.
You need to phrase your wording differently, Oodie, because your argument isn't that it's not portrayed as wrong. It obviously is. The problem is you don't think there's enough why it's wrong.
Yeah,
why is it wrong?
In Attack on Titan, it doesn't.
But we know it's wrong.
Yeah. So for example, Hanji just says, "I don't support it because I never could because obviously." Okay, well I don't want an obviously. I want them to explain why it's wrong. I think they should have done that.
But just to make that clear, that's not what you originally just said.
Whatever.
We know it's wrong in Attack on Titan. You want the why.
We don't know it's wrong. That's the whole thing we just debated on.
Honestly, it depends on how you feel about the characters.
Crazy. In the story itself, literally everyone thinks it's wrong, including Eren. He knows it's wrong. He just doesn't care.
The Jaeger
and honestly, those comments are
I think if you really just pay attention to Attack on Titan from season 1 to season 4, you understand why they're trying to commit genocide. They're trying to get the Titan race off Earth. And it wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't genocide to everybody. It was genocide to just a certain portion of people.
Facts. So Kamui,
Yeah.
you can't say everyone thought it was wrong in the finale because the Jaegers exist, and you can't say everyone thought it was wrong throughout all of Attack on Titan because everyone thought it was right in season 1 through 3 with the
I
Titan.
won't say everyone. That's fine. I won't say everyone because obviously the Jaegerists thought it was the best thing to do. But my point is, plenty of people, the vast majority, thought it was wrong.
I can't think of a single person in season 1 through 3 who at all indicated anything otherwise than genocide is correct. Whether that be with the
it always goes off
genocide.
perspective though. It depends on the person who's committing genocide. Like if you're on the side of the people who commit genocide, you're not going to see it as wrong because it's not being committed against you. But if you're the one that's being the target of genocide, then you're of course going to see it as wrong because you're the target of it. You're being the one who is affected by it.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So
I'm obviously not
subjective
counting that
at the end of
perspective
the day.
though. Because obviously, yeah.
Oodie, genocide isn't even a topic in seasons 1 through 3. Like,
yes, it is. Eren says he's gonna slaughter every last Titan.
It's not.
That's genocide.
I know, but like, it's not treated as genocide because the Titans aren't treated as people. They're treated as mindless monster.
Okay, in the same way the Eldians aren't
humans.
treated as people by the rest of the world.
I know, but what I'm and that's fine. It's fine for you to say that. But my point though is that's not the genocide theme. You've literally brought this up in the past. Like seasons 1 through 3, the genocide topic doesn't exist, even if it's technically in retrospect is there. You know, Marley's trying to genocide parody. But in the story itself, like genocide isn't a topic.
Hang on, I would say it does exist because
it's not a topic in one season 1 or 2. I think it only start getting brought up at like season 3 when Eren starts doing his shit.
No, I disagree. In season 2, Reiner and Bertolt are explaining why it's okay for them to kill everyone inside the walls. In season 3, Zeke and Bertolt are explaining why every last one of them inside the walls need to die. But
it's not. But again, Oodie. While that is technically genocide in retrospect, it's not portrayed as genocide because, as far as we know, those guys, we don't know that they're from this other continent, other country. We don't know enough.
I don't think
all we know is for some reason they're trying to end humanity inside the walls, and we don't even know what that actually means. But it's not portrayed. It's technically is genocide. It's not portrayed as the genocide theme because the establishment of like another country doesn't exist in the story yet.
Meek, what do you think?
Bruh, Meek ain't even here.
He left? Oh my god.
How you gonna say you left when he's not even here? He left.
Crazy.
Dang.
Well, should we tell the live viewers, Oodie?
Well, actually, I was curious to get... So, Immortal Phoenix, you listened to the whole smiling conversation, right?
Yeah. I was listening to the scale and...
Yeah. So, what was your interpretation of that? Yeah. The last 3 minutes.
It's a little bit new to me, seeing that scale, because I never would have thought about the smiling of the characters and which ethnicity and race it would determine who they are.
No, it's not. It's not. They're not smiling based on their ethnicity or race. They're smiling in a language.
Oh, in the language.
Yeah.
So she's smiling in Japanese or she's smiling in English.
Yeah. In the same way, you can be American, but you can still smile in Japanese.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to do it, essentially.
Exactly. To be able to measure it, yeah.
It's kind of like trans. It's like Oodie knows how to speak Japanese. Of course, he knows how to smile in Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how to speak Japanese, but I know enough Japanese through Oodie to pull off a smile. I think doing the smile is easier.
And you can. I thought it was a convincing smile as well.
I thought it was.
Regan, were you even here for that whole conversation?
No,
Did you see any of that?
No, I don't know.
Honestly, you should just watch the it was like an hour-long topic.
Yeah, Kamui, I was hoping you could briefly recap them while I go to the bathroom.
Topic.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't show the screen. Okay, so you're gonna have to go to that Attack on Titan chat.
I'll pull it up.
Don't worry about it. I'll just go back in your stream and we'll watch it.
I think the moment Gabby killed Sasha was when the fandom just went into a fit of rage. I'm not gonna lie, that did got me when I saw Gabby shoot Sasha, but I kind of, in a way, in a way, understand. I haven't really caught up with Attack on Titan yet, but that was like,
That's hilarious.
I kind of got
want to
my
be here for
feeling.
the finale.
But
Yeah,
Kamui,
bro,
you know,
that hurt me. It hurt me when they killed Sasha, bro.
I was like, oh,
that was my
no.
baby, bro.
I
I
was
love
like, oh
Sasha, bro.
no.
That was my baby. Hey, how do I mute the audio real quick? I just need to do it real quick.
Oh, you hit the mute button?
Yeah, what are you
No,
asking
like
us for?
you guys'
Bottom
audio.
left in Discord? Like a
It's not
microphone
working. All right,
button?
never mind. Go ahead.
What are you
Okay.
trying to do? Mute
So-
yourself or mute us?
Mute y'all real quick.
Oh, it's the headphones next
go
to the
into the-
microphone.
Just
It's
mute
down
your-
there.
I mean, there's the headphone button that's a deafen, but you can also just like turn off your volume.
Yeah.
True.
Just mute the laptop button. Mute.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so-
you're right. All right, my bad.
Okay, but Kamui,
I'm a boomer.
going back a little bit to Kamui, something you were just saying a minute ago. You don't have to make a hypothetical
Does
for
not work.
why they're fighting Attack on Titan. We know why Marley is fighting Attack on Titan. Just use that example. So why? We'll
Doesn't
go
work.
based off this.
Well,
What's
we'll
the
circle
reason
back to your.
in Attack
I
on
mean,
Titan?
you can
Marley's fighting.
phrase it different ways. You could say because they're brainwashed to hate. I mean, it's hatred. It's,
I agree.
the underlying one single word is hatred. Brainwashed hatred would be more specific. Some in the earliest stages, like when King Fritz was still alive, that wasn't brainwashed hatred. That was just genuine active hatred. They lived through his reign of terror. The 10,000 years down the line, that's kind of just like taught hatred. That they didn't. It's one thing to hate King Fritz the same way you would hate Hitler in the history books, but to hate a German now is uncalled for. Freaking not Hose, I don't know what a German name. Jean, that's a German name. In Germany right now, there's no reason to hate him. He didn't do anything wrong. Even if he's, Hitler's great grandson or whatever the fuck. There's nothing wrong that Jean did.
Okay,
There's no reason to hate him.
so-
If you do, that's essentially brainwashed. It's uncalled for.
Okay, Kamui, so let me take you down a line of reasoning really quick. Okay, so you agree that brainwashed hatred is not justified.
Yeah.
Okay, when the rumbling began...
Well, hold on. Justified is a weird word. It's like you shouldn't, but I mean, like, it's a weird way because it's like Gabby shouldn't hate the Eldians, but this I don't know if it's understandable. Maybe it's not justified, but it's understandable. I don't. If that makes sense.
Sure. So
Like I understand why she hates them,
Yeah.
but she shouldn't.
So when the rumbling began, nobody in the world had reformed yet. When the rumbling began, was the rumbling justified? Before anyone had reformed.
But that depends on your perspective.
Yes.
That depends on how you feel about Aaron's choice. Because for spacing out, Glasses Girl, why can't I remember her name? The girl whose death you don't like because it's
Sasha?
the punko disco music.
Oh, Hanji.
Huh? Hanji.
Hanji.
Oh, jeez. I'm like, it begins with the letter H. I could not think of the name. Okay,
That's
Hanji.
hilarious.
So if you ask Hanji, she would say, no, it's not justified. If you ask Flock, he would say, yeah, it is justified. I think that's a personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm asking what your opinion is.
Are we still talking about genocide?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if I was in Aaron's shoes, oh, absolutely. If the choice is I die or I kill them, I'm choosing I kill them. I'm not fucking dying over that shit.
Oh,
bro.
hell yeah.
I didn't
But
do anything wrong.
Kamui,
I'm gonna be like Aaron.
But Kamui, you think they have the potential to change. At this point, they
All right,
haven't
let me
yet,
ask
and
you
they've
guys this.
demonstrated that they aren't going to. But, well, okay.
No,
go ahead,
I know that they
Let-
have the potential to change, but like, if it's like I'm talking like hypothetical scenario. There's a guy in front of me holding out his gun, and I'm holding out my gun. I know there's the potential that this guy could just not shoot me. I could change him, but like in this moment,
Nah,
I have a
I'm
split
gonna
second
shoot.
choice. I either take that risk or I kill him. I'm taking the risk. I'm sorry, I'm not taking the risk. I'm killing him.
But this,
I'm not gonna risk my life.
but Kamui, you think the
Yeah,
the
'cause
rumbling
if I was the
in
guy in
general
front of you
isn't
with the gun,
justified?
you
That doesn't mean
shoot.
that it was morally
That's
right,
what you
Oodie.
shoot.
That doesn't mean it was the morally right choice. I'm telling you
No,
what I
it
would
was
do.
the morally right choice. It was. Definitely was. It's called self-preservation, my brother.
Yeah, so why is
Yeah,
it
like,
not morally
like,
right?
For what?
You
For
could,
Aaron to
you
do
could
what he
argue because
did?
I didn't take the chance. I could have prevented either of us dying, technically speaking. It's possible. Some people would say that I was wrong, but I'm telling you,
Nope.
for me, I ain't risking my life over that shit.
Yeah, but
Nope.
not taking the chance, I think, is justified
I walk around with my gun
because it's
all day, every day.
It's
deriving
at
the
the very least
meaning of one's own
understandable.
life.
I would even say it could be justified.
Yeah.
Now, here's a different question, though. My answer is going to stay the same, mind you. Like I said, even if I say it's treated as unjustified in Attack on Titan, I'm gonna tell you what I do. So if I have 10 people pointing guns at me, and I have a special gun that shoots out in a circle around me, it kills all of them at once. I have a special gun, okay? Shoots 10 bullets at the same time.
You gotta
I
go
have
with
the
a switch
choice
on
of
it.
talking to all 10 of them or killing all of them before it's too late. Well, yeah, I'm gonna kill all of them. I'm saving my own skin over this shit. But you could argue it was morally wrong because it was 1 life versus 10 lives. I don't care. That's the thing. I care more about myself than I do them. Call it selfish.
Yeah. Okay. So does it not feel like a contradiction though between your normal stance and this stance?
No, because the difference is I'm not arguing this is morally correct.
Well, but Aaron wouldn't know
see the difference?
Let me
whether or
ask you
not
guys
people
this question,
reform.
though. Let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you guys this question, all right?
Yeah.
So there's a parasite, because basically that's what Attack on Titan was. This girl had her, they threw her in the water, and then a parasite went up her spine, and it turned into the Founding Titan. And this parasite spread, and it pretty much, if you want to put it in layman's terms, infected everybody else, and then they were able to turn into Titans and stuff like that as well. If you knew that this parasite existed and it was doing this to people and causing certain like people not even to turn into like mindful Titans, like they're brain dead Titans, like your family and stuff like that, you don't think that you would try to reverse that in some type of way, even if that is even if the endpoint is genocide, so that doesn't happen to the next generation, like you can wipe all that out so the next generation can live peacefully? I think that's what Aaron was going towards, though, but I could be wrong.
Well, Aaron's doing a few different things. Like on one hand, yeah, he's wiping out that power to for the sake of his friends and next generations. But on the other hand, he is literally trampling the planet because he hates the rest of that world and he wants to trample it. Out of anger, out of disgust, out of all the emotions in the world, he just wants to do it. But he simultaneously also wants to give his friends long lives, let the next generation be better. It's both.
Yeah. So he's not being it's not selfishness the reason why he's doing it. He's doing it for a justified reason. Like it's not
both
like
selfish
he's just
and
doing it.
it's both. Like,
How
there
is it
a selfish reason for it.
What's the selfishness?
The selfish reason is because I feel like it. That is the selfish reason behind it.
But it's not. No, selfish means you're doing it for self, though. When
he is. He literally
he's being
admits that to Armin.
selfless. I mean, you can say it out loud that you're being selfish, but in your actions, you're being selfless because he risked his own life.
Well,
like,
here's the thing.
if you're being selfish,
I think it's both.
Go ahead.
Because Aaron's doing it for everyone on parody. He's someone on parody.
Yeah, I understand where you're going with that, though. But his whole concept was he wasn't going to survive the end of it. He knew from the beginning that he wasn't going to survive. That's why he took on the Founding Titan persona, or if you want to call it that. Like, he took on all the Titans because he knew he wasn't going to survive. He was going to die. So he did it. It was selfless, in my opinion. It wasn't selfish. The on the outside, from the outside looking in. Yeah, it is selfish, but if you look at from Aaron's perspective, even though he outwardly said it was selfish, it's a different dialogue inside a person's mind. You know what I'm saying? They could be doing it for a selfless reason, but telling you it's a selfish reason. Like, he even told Mikasa and them that he didn't care about them, which was a lie because he actually cared about them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just because you outwardly say something doesn't mean that's the actual truth.
I don't. Yeah, but okay. In Aaron's case, like, I literally think it is just 100% both at the same time, because even internal thoughts, even when he's crying to that random stranger, forgot the kid's name, the kid with the hat, the little kid, the flashback. Anyway,
don't expect me to
he's
remember
thinking
names.
like, or he's thinking to himself anyway. He's crying about it. Like, he knows it's wrong, but he can't accept this outcome. just
That's
doesn't
like the
want to do
Tokyo
it.
Ghoul
Like
example I was
Aaron
mentioning earlier.
wants to see the world. Like
Okay,
he
that's kind of
genuinely
like